Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually here with the project coordinator, Iboro Gordon, who will be making the presentation for the Nigerian team. I couldn't make it with the national coordinator. It would have been nice to be there to meet everyone. Nigeria is a non-assent country, but we must thank KNCV International, Eguma and team for the support they provided to us. We were able to start implementation under the TB loan. We leveraged a lot from the resources we have because KNCV Nigeria is currently implementing the TB loan regions 1 and 2 in 14 states in the country. And we were able to start a pilot, and we worked very closely with the National TB program. And it's our hope that the experience we've gathered in country will work with them to ensure a nationwide scale-up, leveraging from Global Fund resources. I will call Iboro, who is the project coordinator for the DAS project for Nigeria, to make our presentation. Thank you. Iboro, you are there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you very much, Dr. Bertrand. And good morning, everyone. I don't know if I'll be sharing my screen or the slides will be shared from there. Do I go ahead and share?
Yeah, just wondering if this is on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, you can. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you can go ahead and share your screen, that would be good. And then you have 10 minutes for the presentation, and we'll have a short time for questions after that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can
Yes.
see it perfectly. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Good morning once again. I will be sharing the country experiences with Digital Adherence Technologies in Nigeria. As an overview, in Nigeria, we implemented 2 DAT models. We implemented the 99 dots light, which is a modification of 99 dots to use medication labels. And then we also implemented the video observed therapy VOT. Our period of implementation, we had a 1-year pilot, which we currently are now in a 3-month extension period. So far, we have enrolled over 6,000 patients, and through our enrollment process, we have more patients on 99 dots lights, which and just 59 as of 3rd of June. We have just 59 persons on VOT. I will give more context as to why we have more patients on 99 dots further on in our presentation. But you can see most of our patients opted for the 99 dots lights. And then we worked with in-country partner, Intera Network. Intera Networks supported the network integration with Everwell, to the Everwell platform. And then we also worked with the NCP call center. The NCP call center basically provided an additional layer of differentiated care support to our healthcare workers and the DAT patients. So for our roadmap of implementation from start to current status, so we started out with adapting the training materials and the design from the Ascent project. Based on the materials that we had received from Ascent project, we're able to develop in-country materials for training and come up with our own in-country design for the medication labels. If you can look through the picture insets, you'd see the medication labels affixed on the blister pack. So we had our own design. Of course, we use green in line with our country color, and then we had that adapted from the Ascent project, and we also came up with training materials and what would use to provide capacity for implementing facilities. We chose 98 facilities were selected within the TB loan project that is already implemented by KNCV Nigeria. So we had 98 facilities selected from the 8 states that we're implementing across the country. And then we went ahead to train over 248 healthcare workers. And in the training, as part of the training participants, we had our TB loan ad hoc staff, because most the projects basically leveraged on a lot of resources from the TB loan. So we also went ahead to train ad hoc staff that we have available in those facilities to provide support to the healthcare workers and the health officers in the facilities that we selected. And then we also activated the NTP call center. The NTP call center was activated after the trainings to handle technical issues, to handle any issues that would come from the patients. And the way it was designed was that the NTP call center has the same number as our in-country short code. So it was easy for the patients to just remember just one number, which was 3340. So the same number that would be used by the patients to in 99 dots to send the code was the same number that was the NTP call center number. So basically and our next step was to activate the call center for this. And then we also had an integration of the 4 major telcos, and this is where we had a little bit of a challenge. So it was some networks had a challenge coming on board. We had trouble getting some networks. Some of them had a conflict with the in-country code that we had already set up. So it took a while for us to get that, but we finally got all the 4 major telcos on board in the Adherence platform. And then later on in the project, we had to do an adjustment of our medication labels to suit user needs. So we had to adjust based on the face printing of the medication labels. We had to get feedback from the users based on their comments and the usability. Was it sticking well on the blisters? Was it visible enough and all of that? So we're able to make adjustments and procure a next batch of labels based to suit the user needs. And then currently we have enrolled over 6,000 patients into the DAT models, and we are in our funded extension period as of now. For our successes and challenges during the implementation, for the successes, we have a very high patient acceptance level for 99 dots. So the reminder system is really something that has really supported our patients. So we see, and also for the ease of entry. So 99 dots used a basic feature phone. So this is something that is easy for our patients to have. It's easy for our patients to have access to a basic feature phone as opposed to a smartphone, which is required for VOT, which we noticed that was really a challenge or a barrier of entry for VOT in Nigeria. And then we also created explainer videos for the use of DATs. We understand that this is a new technology. This is something that would require training and retraining of healthcare workers. So what we did was for most of the Everwell functions, we created a bouquet of explainer videos, how to enroll a patient, how to close a patient, how to add manual doses, how to add missed doses, all those things that healthcare workers would routinely do on the Everwell app. So we just created this so that at any time, the healthcare workers can always refer to these using virtual platforms that we set up that's on WhatsApp to support the healthcare workers. And then we've also had success stories from our 99 dot patients and also VOT patients. But specifically, we have more success stories from 99 dots. So we see patients coming back to basically affirm the effectiveness of the reminder messages. So the reminder messages are able to help them to take their medications when they forget. So that's I think that came out strongly for our patients on 99 dots. And then one of our successes also in the program is the differentiated care support that we got from the NTP call center. So this has helped us tremendously because sometimes, as you know, during implementation, some of the patients can still be hard to reach in terms of network issues that they may have. So the NTP call center was able to provide verbal reports from this patient. So what we have, the protocol is that when we have patients that have at least 2 missed doses, the NTP call center will reach out to them. At 1 missed dose, the healthcare worker reaches out to them. But if after 2 missed doses, we don't have any response from the patient, the NTP call center reaches out to this patient and gets the verbal reports from the patient, which the healthcare worker can now use to add accounts for the either manual or missed doses based on the verbal response that we get from the NTP call center or from the patient. And then finally, in our successes, we have a lot more successes, but finally here we have DAT literacy. So what we did was we included DAT literacy as part of our enrollment process in the facilities that we were implementing DAT. So when you come and you're enrolled as a new TB case, you are given like some form of counseling on DAT. So we counsel all the patients that are enrolled, which is why we have we track our DAT cascade from patients enrolled or returning intensive phase cases across all the facilities that we're implementing. So this has improved DAT literacy across all our facilities that we implement. For the challenges, so we noticed a persistent low uptake on VOT, and this is primarily because of the barrier to entry, and then we also had issues of stigma. And so what we did is we noticed that even the patients that we enrolled on VOT, some of them had to switch to 99 dots. So we conducted DAT switch interviews to find out from the patients that switched their reasons for DAT switch. And what came out strongly from those interviews were that first of all, there's technology fatigue. Patients find it cumbersome to always have to send in videos every day. So it's a lot easier for them to just send the text messages. So technology fatigue was one of it, and then some cases of stigma where they're like, it's not really convenient for them to send the videos anywhere they are when they want to take their medication. So that was also a problem. And then the barrier that, I mean, even if I want to send the videos, I do not have a smartphone to be able to do that. So that really affected our uptake on VOT. And then some healthcare workers also do not have smartphones, but as part of things that we envisage, that's why we trained our TB Loan ad hoc. So our TB Loan ad hoc that already have smartphones because of what they are doing in the loan project implementation are able to bridge this gap and ensure that we don't have missed opportunities in the facilities, because some healthcare workers actually do not have the smartphones to facilitate this enrollment. And then we also had network challenges, which is really contribute to the technical issues that we have. Sometimes the healthcare workers have poor network in the facilities, or sometimes you enroll a patient and the patient goes back home and does not have adequate network to be able to facilitate or use the DAT model. But this is where our NTP call center reports really came in handy. We're able to use the reports when these NTP call centers reach out to these patients. We're able to use this report and transmit it to relate with the healthcare workers to document the patient's feedback. And then from our feedback also, we noticed that there's a low level of phone ownership by patients. So we have to also leverage heavily on access to phone by using the treatment support as phone. So adjusting to in-country settings, I've spoke heavily on the use of the NTP call center. So the call center number is basically the same as our short code. So what they do is, first of all, they provide you routine support for patient management and support of the healthcare workers. So through accounting for adherence that are not available that's missed doses, adherence that we cannot account for digitally, they're able to provide healthcare workers with patient management support. And then they also receive this verbal adherence reports. I've talked about the protocol. If patients have greater than 2 missed doses, they share this, they reach out to the patients and provide the verbal adherence reports for the healthcare workers. And then they also routinely share the call logs. So the call log logs that we receive from the NCP call center is usually divided into 3 parts. We have the adherence part and patient's complaints, and then side effects, if any. So this call log is shared on a weekly basis across all the states. So based on if patients had, if we had like maybe 10 patients for the week that have not have had up to 2 missed doses, then would have that report coming from the call center on a weekly basis. And then at the end of the month, there's a sweep of all the patients that have missed their dose for the month. So this just helps to make sure that every time we have our adherence accounted for, whether we're able to reach the patient digitally or not. And then, so they support healthcare workers in adherence reports for hard to reach patients, and they also troubleshoot any reported technical issues from the patient or the healthcare worker. So from going from pilots to large scale, we have seen very encouraging results following our pilot implementation across the 8 states in Nigeria. And from our findings, one of the major barriers to entry is the access to feature phones. However, for 99 it's a lot easier since it's just a shared phone, which means that if we're to scale up, DAT would focus on DATs that have lower technology requirements and ease of entry, especially since most of these patients that reside in remote areas, and then of course TB is seen as a disease of the poor, so it's it would be advisable to scale up with DATs that do not require a very high technology requirements. And then from the feedback from the patients, we see that the reminder message seems to be the most beneficial aspect of the adherence. So if we're scaling up, we would scale up to use DATs that come with reminder systems like the smart spill box, so that we could have that reminder come through for the patients, as they have seen that that's the most effective feature of the DAT for them. And then DAT literacy is also very pivotal to the success of implementation. A lot of times, if the healthcare workers are overburdened with a lot of other things that they need to do in the facility. So it's important that the healthcare workers actually take time to build the capacity of the patients and explain the process of DAT. Patients that leave the facility without proper information on how to actually use any of the DAT models are most likely not going to use or not going to be as adherence in using the technology, not necessarily adherence in taking medication, but adherence in using the technology that helps them become adherent in treatment is really based on the DAT literacy that is offered, the capacity building that is given to them by the healthcare workers. And finally, we have a testimonial, a very brief video testimonial from our patient. So I'll just play, and I think you should. I think if I play, it's going to play on my end. So I think it's going to play on my own end. So I think if it's projecting there, so you could just play so that everyone can hear. Or are you hearing it? Oh, okay. So just
Ibora, we have the video here, so we'll play it later, just
right.
for time's sake, if that's okay. Thanks.
Oh,
Thank you
fine.
for your presentation. Thanks for your
Thank you very
presentation.
much.
Are there any questions for Ibora?
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Quick question. This is Andre from the Philippines. I was just curious, amongst the TB cases that you were referring to in this report, are they a combination of DS and DR-TB? And if so, were specific DAT tools assigned for specific TB types? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, do I take the question as they come, or?
Yeah, if you can just answer the question as it comes, and then we'll move on to the next question. Thanks.
All right. So we had a specific DAT type for DRTB patients. So DRTB patients were actually focusing on VOT. However, one of the eligibility criteria for being on VOT was having access to smartphones. So that criteria made it more of, if you do not have a smartphone, you are most likely not going to choose VOT. So what we noticed in implementation is that those that have smartphones are more likely going to opt for VOT, and that makes that the primary criteria, not necessarily who we're targeting the intervention to. So what we have is that patients that are currently, what we have is that patients that are DRTB patients are currently on 99 dots, not VOT, and that is primarily because of the barrier of entry, that is the availability of the smartphones.
Okay, thank you. I think you actually answered my first question in terms of whether you were offering them phones. So I just want to ask another question, whether you also offer them data or they're yet to use their own data in terms of VOT. And once again, thanks for your presentation. It actually enlightened us, because we are one of the countries who are also implementing VOT. And I could see the difference in terms of numbers, that those who are on VOT were very few. And I'm looking at Nigeria, such a big country, with only maybe 59 patients. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So yes, we provided them with data on a monthly basis for patients that are on VOT. We provided them with data. We also provided data to the healthcare workers to support their enrollment. So yes, we did that, but we did not provide smartphones.
Thank you, Iboro. Really more a comment, because I noticed when you were talking about some of the challenges on VOT, you totally broke up, so we didn't hear it at all. However, because I'm part of the project, I do know what you were trying to say. And you were trying to say that you noticed that your patients on VOT experience a lot of stigma, which is very different from what we're seeing in other countries. So it's really interesting to see how stigma can be very specific within countries. So just wanted to flag that. But I know you covered it, but we didn't hear.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.